Powered by Riverside.
Welcome to the Vehicle City Sound Podcast. This is volume 2025, episode number 20. Our air date, Thursday, May 15th, 2025. The year is going quick. I am your host, C. Willie. I am joined again this week by the wonderful and talented
Quarter Peep.
She is keeping me around. We're happy about that. We have a very special guest this week. Paul Sake is joining us. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, I want to say hello to everybody listening, to you two, and just let you know how much I genuinely appreciate this opportunity. It's amazing in and of itself.
Well, this is fun, and this is a kind of a different thing for what we're doing. We're showing a little different aspect tonight of the music industry. Paul is a writer. Paul is a lyricist. He's got a couple of absolutely amazing songs that we're going to be listening to here shortly, but it's a different aspect of what we normally do, and we're excited about that. Paul, how did you get into the music industry? What kind of prompted you to make this transition?
This might not be the typical answer that you guys get to that question. And I thought a lot about it, kind of my influence and so forth and so on. And I can't necessarily say that it was something from the industry that drew me in or influenced me. When I was in college, I went to school for theater performance. So I've got, I guess, a little bit of that creativity bug. In college, actually, the very first song I ever wrote was Montana Sky.
Okay.
And it was one of the last ones that I had someone record for me because I was nervous that it would be kind of dated because I wrote it so long ago. Would it be dated? Would it not be? And man, I tell you, when it was done and I listened to it, I'm like, that's just a good traditional country. I can't sing for worth a lick. And so I would just write things down. And I had no idea what to do with them. I actually took that song to one of the music professors at Western Michigan University and let him read it. And he was really impressed, and he said, I hope you do something with this. And what are we, 30 some years later?
There you go.
But I didn't know what the next step was. I didn't know how to do anything more with it. And I will admit, sometimes you get caught up in life. You've got to pay the bills. You've got other things that happen. I moved out to California, et cetera. And, you put some of those dreams and goals and ideas in the back, in the back shelf somewhere and kind of forget a little bit.
Well, Quarter Pete came across a quote that I think is extremely appropriate at this moment. Quarter Pete, you found this on his Instagram account?
Yeah, so I kind of stalked you a little bit. Sorry.
That's what she does.
So on your Instagram account, there's a quote and it says, I may be late to the starting line, but like Cody Johnson says, you try till you can't. Can you tell us about that quote? Like, why is that on there? Is that there's a special meaning behind it?
That's hilarious because on my way, I have a little bit of a commute to work. I live in Lowell, Michigan. I work in St. John, so 55 minutes. So obviously I was thinking about this today on the way in. And again, back to what were your influences? I love Cody Johnson.
Yeah.
I wish that I could pull a Chris Christopherson and fly a helicopter down and land in his front yard because I have a couple songs that I know he could make a hit. But of all the amazing songs that he has performed, Till You Can't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to forewarn you guys just a little bit. My emotions are right underneath at the surface. So if I have to get my composure once in a while, I apologize.
We're right there with you.
All the songs that he's written and he's made, hits and are successful. That song, and I say this factually, that song hits every human being on the planet.
It does.
I mean, every song has meanings, and songs are going to hit different people different ways and impact them, and it's going to hit a nerve, and they're like, yeah, that's me or that. But Till You Can't. There's not a living human being on the planet that can't take a lesson from that song. They've either taken the lesson and made sure that they're getting things done. But like for me, It's perfect. I'm in my early 50s, so this is a late start for me.
Mm-hmm.
The last 12 months, I've done a couple goals that I have put off, and I owe a big thank you to my wife for that. But "Till You Can't" is just, it was the perfect quote for me to put there, because I may be starting late, but it's better that I start late, because like he says, someday you got to do it now till you can't.
Yeah, you don't want to
It's
have the regret of not doing it at all.
No, no. And from what I've been able to accomplish so far, even the journey to this point has been, I mean, I want to go further with it. I hope I can, but you have no idea what it feels like to start hearing things brought to life, be able to see them and hear them and feel. And I listen to music, and we all have our own tastes, but I would like to believe that I can listen to something and be honest and say, it's really not that great. I mean, when I wrote words, I like the lyrics, I like what I wrote, but I could never hear it,
Yeah.
other than me in
Yeah.
the shower, and that's never great. But I swear to God, now there are times I've had some of them recorded multiple times because I just didn't like the way a certain artist did it.
Sure.
But man, and I'm saying this is complete confidence. I've choked up listening to each and every one of them the first time.
Yeah.
Mama was the first one that my mama was the first one that I had recorded. And I mean,
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
Well, the first one that we've got queued up for you tonight is the one that you referenced. You wrote back when you were a fellow Bronco quarter peep as a Western grad as well. I can't hold that against the two of you. For those of you that don't know, Western and my alma mater, Central Michigan, are big rivals. But that's okay. I'm outnumbered tonight. I won't go there.
I sold P on the Chippewa T-shirt. It wasn't P, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you. I can't do that, but you did. Thank you.
So you wrote Montana Sky, it sounds like from a dorm room in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Tell us a little bit about this song. What's the background? What's the meaning behind it? And then we'll give it a listen.
So I have two brothers, and was blessed. We were blessed with a fantastic father and mother, great parents. And I've always been in Westerns. I Lonesome Dove. There's not a better Western out there than Lonesome Dove. Legends of the Fall, Dance of the Wolves, which I saw for the first time ever when I was at Western. But I love the story behind a lot of Westerns, the risk that people took. And we've all heard of Montana Sky, Big Sky Country. My family and I lived in Wyoming for about 5 or 6 years, so I have experience living out there. But I don't know. Again, I feel bad for saying this, as if there wasn't necessarily an actual influence. It just was something I started thinking of, and I just came up with a song. And it's a story about a man moving his family west, and back in when you're starting up cattle ranches. So back in the day, and moving with the goal of creating a ranch, building a cattle ranch that, as the song says, someday would bear his name. And he works it, and he passes it down to his son, who then passes it on down. It stays in the family, I guess, kind of like Yellowstone.
Sure, sure.
And I was talking to my older brother the other day about it, because he listened to it for the first time. My older brother is very into music, and he listened to it, that and my song about our father, one of those days. But I told him, I said, when I wrote this song, I would sit and dream about, because back then you had more videos out than you do these days. I mean, MTV was really action videos. And I thought, man, I had always dreamt about my father playing the rancher, and then us boys being out there in the video on horses or whatever, and making a family video out of it. But and the song's really about, one son decides, it's the first son to decide, hey, I want to do something different. Not that he doesn't want the ranch, but he's going to go to college. He has a different goal, a different dream. So the story of the song is about this father who has had the ranch handed down to him. All he's ever known is the ranch. That's all and that's his family legacy. And he's got to let this son go, and let him follow his dreams. And let him go, and let him know that hey son, you have all my support and love and support. I hope
Yeah.
all your dreams come true. But always remember, this place is always here for you, Montana Sky.
Absolutely.
And it's big sky, and it reaches down and grabs a hold of you. So
it does.
It's just to me, it's a great story. And in my opinion, I think that's one thing that lacks a teeny little bit in some country music these days. They're churned out too fast.
Well, we've talked about that a number of times. They're set in the studio. They're set in the owner's suite, talking about what the demographic is we need to hit with our next big song. And yours, like a lot of the independent artists that we talk to, are actually telling real stories.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. That's what we're missing right now in a lot of today's music.
And again, I feel bad because I feel like, is it right for me to talk about some things I don't like that are out there? People are super rich and famous for.
That's
producing.
okay.
They've made it. They're successful.
Yeah.
But I actually stopped listening to country music for so long that my wife is very into country music and loves concerts. First concert we went to, and you're going to laugh. First concert we went to was Luke Combs.
Okay.
I asked my wife, and this is terrible to admit, who's Luke Combs? So I started listening to country music, obviously in the early to mid 90s. So who's my big idol? Garth Brooks. I mean, who wasn't a Garth Brooks fan in the early to mid 90s? So I've seen him 5 times. And, No Fences, Rodeo broke, was on the Billboard Top 40 for 13 weeks or something like that. And Luke Combs is the one that ironically broke that. But I loved country music back then. And then for me, the story started to fall out. I didn't hear stories. I didn't hear depth. I didn't hear emotion or meanings. And it got a little poppy to me. And I get that from a business point of view. You're reaching a larger audience. You're getting people that aren't really country, but they like kind of the fun aspect of country. So and for me to get onto a country radio station and listen, I'd listen to 10 songs that I wasn't a huge fan of to get to the one that I was.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of wasted time on the radio.
No question.
So my wife's look on her face when I said, who's Luke Combs? And I mean, arguably the biggest name in the industry. And I don't know who the heck he is. It was Luke Combs, Riley Green, Lena, come on.
Laney Wilson.
Laney Wilson, she's OP.
Yep.
And went there, and that brought me back.
Yeah.
So I went there, fantastic.
Well, and I really think the story that you tell in Montana Sky would certainly be a hit for those that you liked. And it would be a hit for a Luke Combs. It would be a hit for a Garth Brooks. And
Garth,
a great story.
Garth, if you're out there.
Well, let's give this a listen. This is Montana Sky, written by Paul Sate.
Lying on our backs on a moonlit summer night, staring at the stars sparkling so bright. I remember lying with my daddy, counting them one by one, just like I am tonight, lying next to my own son. Tomorrow he heads to college, the first of us to leave, the first to pack his bags and leave God's country. Montana sky, so big and blue, reaches on down and grabs a hold of you, holding you tight and never letting you leave, keeping you here in God's country. My granddaddy moved his family west, where he could stake a claim to start a cattle ranch that would proudly bear his name. My grandpa, he worked hard, he wore his fingers to the bone, trying to run the ranch and provide for his home. On his dying bed, he gave the deed to my dad and said, son, this is the only dream I've ever really had. On down and grabs a hold of nobody's ever had the chance. I said, son, I'll let you go and hope all your dreams come true. Just promise me you'll remember this place is always here for you. Montana sky, so big and blue, reaches on down and grabs a hold of you, holding you tight and never letting you leave, keeping you here in God's country. Keeping you here in God's country.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I could definitely hear Garth or Luke singing that one. That's Montana Sky from Paul's Sake. Paul, great tune. Great tune. We're going to take a quick pause here for a brief commercial message, and we will be right back.
It's the new party of the summer, the Country Roads Music Festival at the Groves in Brooklyn, Michigan, July 18, 19, and 20. Restless Road, Colt Ford, and Drew Baldridge are your headliners, and they're going to be joined on stage by a host of VCS alums, including Louie Lee, Ryan J., Michaela Prue, Gasoline Gypsies, Kay Harper, Blue Sky, and many more. There are a host of ticket packages available. This is going to be the one you want to be at. CountryRoadsMusicFestival.com is where you get your tickets. We'll see you there July 18, 19, and 20.
Welcome back to the Vehicle City Sound Podcast. We have Paul Sake on the show tonight. Paul, we just got done here in Montana Sky, which was many decades in the making for you. We've asked this question of a number of the performers that we've had on the show that have talked about how gratifying it is when they're performing that the audiences are singing their songs or really getting into it, and you can really see they're enjoying what's happening. How gratifying is it for you as a writer to actually hear one of your songs come to fruition?
So, in all honesty, how I got them done for starters, and if I don't know if you've ever heard of a website called Fiverr, Fiverr.
Yep.
You can hire freelance in different industries, and music is one of them. And stumbled across that because I was just trying, like, how do I get this done? I don't know any musicians. I don't live in Nashville. I can't sing. What could I do? And I came across that, and it was a blessing. I mean, there were a couple things that didn't get recorded the way I wanted them, and I had to redo it. But man, Mama was the very first one that I had done. I wanted to get it done before Mother's Day of last year, and what can I say? It was amazing. And then also on that, as I started to get them done, nobody knew I wrote music other than my family. Mm-hmm. And obviously, if everybody did, and I said, "Hey, what do you think about this song?" Your friends and family say, "Oh, it's great," whether it really is or isn't. So when the song started coming out, and I'm gonna just to touch on Mama, I wanted to get people's opinions because I'm like, holy cow, that's actually pretty good. And so I sent it to one of my friends that I knew had a really good relationship with his mom. And I said, hey, check this song out I found. Didn't tell him it was mine. And just let me know what you think about it. So he calls me a couple hours later, and I could tell that he's emotional a little bit. And I'll make sure I don't say exactly what he said because I know we're on the line. But he called me, he goes, Paul, and I'm like, hey, at first I'm like, are you okay, Mark? And he said, he said, I'm sitting out here on my porch right now and I'm blanking crying.
Yeah.
And I said, what's wrong? And he said, that damn song you sent me. He said, and my wife comes out and my wife's like, what are you crying about? And I said, sit down and listen to this song. And you know how important my mother meant to me. And he said, Paul, because he's a big country music fan too, goes, who in the H sings that song? I need to download it. Whose is it? And I said, well, it's mine. And I said, obviously I didn't sing it. I wrote it. But he said, get out. He goes, what the hell are you doing in Michigan?
Yeah.
And so that made me feel good because he had no idea it was my song. He's a huge country music fan. And those are the things, again, I want these to go somewhere. But that was amazingly gratifying because it's a person who did not know
Yeah.
my song.
You know,
and it was organic.
there's a group out there, and I'm not trying to create a commercial message for somebody else while we're doing this.
No,
But I think if we could get you or anybody that's listening tonight that has that same sort of desire in touch with these folks, there's a gentleman by the name of Matthew Rowe. And he's got an organization called Michigan Music Awards. They're based in the Royal Oak, Metro Detroit area. And their whole purpose is to do exactly what you found through Fiverr, but with Michigan artists. They want to get folks like you, Paul, in touch with somebody that can record your song. And an artist maybe out there that's not the best writer, but they're incredibly talented. And boy, if we can get the two of you together, now you've got something that can be built on. And for those that are listening tonight that, are like C. Willie and like Paul that can't sing a lick, but we want to have something to do with the music industry.
Love it.
Here's a great conduit for making that happen. So I would encourage you, Paul, to get in touch with Matthew. It's MichiganMusicAwards.com.
I think I follow him on Facebook too.
And if anybody else is out there in a similar boat, please get a hold of Matthew. This is what they formed this organization for, and I think would be phenomenal. And it's just so refreshing to hear a story like that about your song and how that affects people, and it's got to make you feel great too.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, when you asked me to pick 3 songs, I love Montana Sky, and I 100% see that, as a real country song, and I love Conquer the Fall, which we'll listen to, and Precious Girl, but I kind of purposely stayed away from Mama and one of those days because they're about my mom and dad. My mom is still alive, my dad is not, and I'm like, God, am I going to be able to keep my composure talking about those songs the whole way through? So I kind of kept those off the table as far as discussing. That one I wanted to bring up because, again, the story, of me sending it to my friend and that song is about and it's true. I 100% believe it. Our mothers are our angels.
Yes.
And they are sent down from God, and they do not die. When they leave this earth, they simply go, they take a seat up top, and they look down on all their children. And my mom is my angel, and your moms are yours. And that's something that's where that song came from. Always believed our mothers, our angels sent down from God.
And this show coming out just a few days past Mother's Day, I think that can hit even closer to home with all of that.
I debuted this song to my mom on Mother's Day of last year.
All right.
How did she react? So did you give it to her as a Mother's Day gift, or did you play it for her on Mother's Day?
So I played it for her. She came down. My mom lives in Cadillac, and so she came down. My brother that I work with lives in Rockford, and I live in Lowell. So we met up at she came down. They came down to our house, and I said she knew I was writing it because I had again, my mom. I can sing to her, not get completely criticized. But I told her this is something I was working on, so I said I have something for you. And we were outside in the backyard, and I let her listen to it, and she didn't cry. It was just the smile.
Yeah.
The smile and the hug, and that's all that needed to be said.
Yeah.
She's my mom, so she's no way, even if it was terrible, she's not going to tell me. But it was the smile. And again, it was a genuine smile, not a fake. When the smile and the hug, and I knew she was proud.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, the next one that we've got queued up here, which I really enjoyed too, is Precious Girl. Tell us about Precious Girl.
So, again, influence from life. I would venture to say that a large percentage of men, some point in their life, messed a relationship up. Now, ultimately, or they messed a relationship, but they didn't realize what they had.
Yeah.
Now, some could argue, like me, thankfully, God gave me a second chance. Thankfully, He put someone in my life that I'm not sure I quite deserve sometimes, but she's amazing. But some would argue, well, that one wasn't meant to work out. I'm not a big believer in it wasn't meant to be. I think we make mistakes and something doesn't work. But Precious Girl is just about, not realizing what you have and looking elsewhere and thinking something's better than what you have.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I don't care what man you are and how strong you are or whatever. There's not many difficult things or painful things that are worse for a man than that realization that, holy cow, I just screwed up and I lost her. And real quickly before you play it, and again, when it was recorded, I sent that to some friends and including, and I'm going to throw his name out there, Dean Armstrong. He's a DJ at the Bull out of Cadillac. He's like, okay, I got some people I want to send this to. But I sent it out, and how many responses I got from my female friends. Again, same thing. Hey, check this song out. That's really cool. Tell me what you think of it. Nobody knew. And a number of my female friends I'm not joking, would get back to me and say, oh my God, that hit a nerve. Oh my God, that's what I went through with my ex-boyfriend or my ex-fiance or my ex-friend, just never realized what he had. And I even had some guy friends, I did that. Yeah, boy, I regret that mistake. And again, to me, that's what really made me say, okay, I want to go further with these songs, because these are organic responses, but they're not just people saying I liked it. They're coming up, they're telling a story. This is why they like it. And
you're getting emotion.
Response could you get?
Yeah, you're getting emotion from folks. They can relate to this. And when you can relate to what you're hearing, it's striking a nerve.
Yeah.
All right, let's give this a listen. Paul Sake's Precious Girl.
When I close my eyes, it's all that I can do to keep myself from seeing images of you. It's a struggle I rarely ever win, so it's a world of suffering I live in. Here I am, just a broken man who once had it all right here in the palm of his hands. Tell me, why do we always hurt the ones we love? Why isn't what we have ever enough? Why can't we ever just be satisfied? Why is the grass always greener on the other side? And why didn't I just take more time to see that beautiful, precious girl standing next to me? When we first met, I knew from the start she was the one who was gonna steal my heart. The look in her eyes, the smile on her face, was all that it took to cast any doubt away. Now all I have is shattered memories that tear through my mind and bring me to my knees. The moral of this story, the message in this song: pay attention to what you have before it's gone. Have faith in God to always give you what you need, just like He tried to do with the girl He gave to me. And never forget, we only get this one dance, and nobody's ever promised a second chance. Tell me, why do we always hurt the ones we love? Why isn't what we have ever enough? Why can't we ever just be satisfied? Why is the grass always greener on the other side? And why didn't I just take more time to see that beautiful, precious
mean, the song is about a guy going through the pain and the regret. And so how can this hit different people? I mean, you're going to hit the people that are going through it right now or went through it in the past, but also it's a song where, like for me, I learned a lesson, and I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything like that. I just was young and immature, and I didn't pay attention. So a lesson learned, so the next time something came into my life, actually, the funny thing is, I mean, when I met the girl I'm married to now, I tried to be all macho and arm's length, and I don't want anything right now. And, she was so amazingly patient, but there was country music. We would go to concerts, and again, I was, hey, we're just going to date. We're just going to have fun for the summer. That's it. And then we go to these concerts, and I'd sit back, and I literally would sit down while she's up, right? And she's into it. And I saw this girl, and I mean, my God, I'm like, look how happy she is.
Yeah.
Look how much she enjoys life. And when my mom is the one who said, what the hell are you waiting for? Like, what are you doing? But that was the light that came on me. I went up to Cadillac and had lunch with my mom one day, and are you dating anyone? And I said, this one girl we go out one. But then I subconsciously didn't even realize that I kept, well, she's this and she's this and she's this, and we do this. And my mom just literally looked at me like a mother does to her son and says, what the hell's the problem? Like,
time to wake up.
You're not a spring chicken, and the light came on right like that. And I thought, what am I doing? So lesson learned from and this time around, I mean, I make sure that she knows every single day, how grateful I am. And there is nothing else out there for me. I don't know how that
well, it sounds like there are a few more songs that will come out of that now.
Yes.
The interesting thing to me, we listened to my Montana Sky, which is the first one we had on, which is kind of a story told. You talk about the song that you wrote for your mom. We talk about, and we've heard Precious Girl. Those are experience songs. Mm-hmm. So you've got that breadth of the writing style that you have. We're going to get to Conquer the Fall.
Love it.
But you're bringing in a couple of different things and a couple of different feelings and a couple of different ways to approach the song. That opens up a whole world for you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to learn. So I think this is very common in writers and musicians that can do both. I mean, and I think it's what's lacking a little bit these days, but a lot of artists, even the most manliest man artist there is, these things come from emotion. And a lot of artists, it's right below the surface. And so a lot of my songs did stem from difficult times in my life. And or mistakes or difficult lines, or from people that I very much love. One thing that I'm trying to branch out into and learn a little bit more, it's not necessarily, getting into the uplifting song, but just trying to, look at my experiences that I've had that are positive and happy and go out in that direction too. I don't like being fenced in, though. I don't like having a style or an influence, because I think if that happens, then you start getting fenced in a little bit.
No question.
And I love, I've got some things that I'm working on, but Conquer the Fall, man. Love it.
It's obvious that you have that breadth of what you're doing. Tell us about Conquer the Fall.
So again, just one of those, it's weird. Just one of those songs that, when these started getting recorded and I started hearing them, and I started getting feedback again from people that did not know I wrote them, so not fake pats on the back. And so that's inspirational. And again, back to my wife, an unbelievably supportive human being, unbelievably supportive. So things just started coming to me. One song that I'm working on, we're just laying in the hammock one day, and the song starts off in a hammock under the old oak, and that's what I'm working on now. But Conquered the Fall, I drive 50 minutes to work every day. So, and I have had some moments in my life that were close to rock bottom. Mm-hmm. And so, and I beat myself up about it a number of times, and thus conquered the fall. So I'm driving back and forth in my car, and and I'm thinking about life, and I'm thinking about parts of my life. And you get older, you start thinking about it even more, right?
Yes, you do.
So it just was, and life gets tough, man. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. Life gets tough. Sometimes you feel like you can't handle it. So that's where this song came from is, life's getting a little rough and the times are getting tough. And you don't give up on the life that you're given. Don't give, and so that's what, the conquer the fall, I just kind of think is a kick-ass line. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
And I think it's a cool line. And don't forget all the lessons your mom and daddy taught, all the challenges you faced and you fought. And the one line I love is, and all the times you wiped away the blood and the dirt on the sleeve of your favorite shirt. And it's just, so it is an uplifting song. And that's something that was a little bit different for me. But it still can't, things are going to be rough. Things are going to be difficult. Dust yourself off, stand up nice and tall, and know that you conquered the fall.
All right. This is going to be an inspirational one for all of us, folks. This is Paul Sakes, Conquer the Fall.
I was driving down a country road in my pickup truck all alone, with pieces of my life on my mind. I was searching high and searching low. What I'd find I didn't know. Whatever it was, I just hoped it'd treat me kind. 'Cause life has been a little rough, and the challenges are getting tough, and I do my best just to keep it going straight. I know if I just get a grip, hold on tight and don't let it slip, then give me some time and I know I'll be okay. Don't give up on the chance that you're given. Don't give up on the miracle of life. Use your strength and your faith, and I promise you, friend, everything's gonna be alright. Yeah, everything's gonna be alright. There are moments in all our lives when we feel we don't have the fight, and it's easier just to give up and give in when everything seems out of hand and we don't want to make a stand, 'cause all our troubles seem like they're gonna win. Well, I'm here to tell my fellow man, failure isn't in the plan. God gave us all the will to succeed. So all for one and one for all, lift your heads up and stand up tall, and everyone repeat after me. Don't forget all the lessons your mom and daddy taught, all the challenges you faced and you fought, all the times you wiped away the blood and dirt with the sleeve of your favorite shirt. Oh, now dust yourself off and stand up nice and tall, and know that you conquered the fall.
Yeah.
Dust yourself off and stand up nice and tall, and know that you conquered the fall.
Yeah.
Love it. I thought that one turned out great.
Oh, you're Conquer the Fall, Paul. I've had a few occasions to say this during the times that we've been doing this show, and I will say it to you right now. Thank you for writing that song. That's
Man, I'm I'm humble, but I'm proud of myself.
You should be. And that is a song that anybody that's going through any kind of a hard time needs to hear. Because you're right. Stand up, be tall, dust yourself off. You've conquered the fall. And that is it.
It was fun.
Just so you know, like all the dancing that I was doing, my chair moved.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You know it's good and it's hitting something if she's moving around like that.
No, that was a lot of fun.
You know, you've got a number of other great songs that are out there, and we've seen them on a couple of different platforms. Where can folks hear your music? If folks want to listen to more of what you've got out there, where can they find you?
I have all of my songs on SoundCloud. It's the easiest to upload.
Super.
You don't have to go. And it is PJ Sake on
You
SoundCloud.
bet.
I have all the songs that I wrote so far and I've had done and copywritten and recorded are on SoundCloud. SoundCloud I'm on, and I think most people I've gotten more attention there just because from what I've heard, SoundCloud is a place that a lot of people go to listen to music that hasn't been discovered yet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's new. Haven't gotten them all up there. So if you want to hear all of them, they're all on SoundCloud. I do have, like I said, Paul Sake YouTube and Paul Sake's Spotify. You said earlier, I'd love to collaborate with other artists.
Yeah.
I've got songs that I can't finish.
Yeah.
And it's driving me crazy because they're good and I can't finish them. And sometimes it's just that one extra person to listen to it and maybe give you just one line. And you know what? These all I have copywritten, but the ones that I don't have finished yet, man, if anyone's out there and wants to hear them or wants to write music or likes to or whatever, man, you the same thing. There's artists out there that can't finish a song.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's my ear that listens to it and boom, I hit them back with this.
My bet is there are some folks within a couple of the organizations that listen to us that will grab onto that, and you'll hear from somebody.
Yeah.
I'm betting we love them all. We love them all. We've really enjoyed this. We appreciate you being with us tonight, Paul. Thank you so much for sharing your story about what you want to do. And I am guessing, particularly with the quality of what we've heard tonight, there will be a good collaboration that comes out of this somewhere.
That would be a blessing. I couldn't even express that.
Corner Peep, who do we have coming up next?
Yes, we have Jesse Blake.
All right, we're looking forward to that.
Thank you, guys. See everybody.
I think that's a wrap on this one tonight. Paul Sake, thank you again one more time for joining us.
God bless. Thank you so much. Thank you both.
For all of you out there in podcast land that have given us a listen, we appreciate all your support. And if you know another Paul Sake that you want us to talk to, give us an email. Let us know where we can find them. You can find us at vehiclecitysound@gmail.com. If you want to know what we're doing, where we're going to be, vehiclecitysound.com is the website. We appreciate all the support. Appreciate having Paul on the show tonight. And hey, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Be good.